Live on the Really American Media platform, we're slogging through another political swamp thick with nonsense and bad intentions. Let's cut through the poo-poo and throw a little light on the chaos before it buries us all. We don't care if you chew gum during the podcast, but no blowing bubbles. Alrighty then, without further ado, here's Nick and Bubbles. Steve. Holy moly. Take it away, gentlemen.
It's the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve reporting for booty, or duty, as it were.
We'll take either. It's not neither.
We're not picky, for crying out loud. They always say gas, grass, or ass. No one rides for free. Well, this is a free program. You tuned in just in time, and we expect nothing in return, whether it's grass, gas, or ass.
All right. Glad we covered all that.
Yeah.
If you want to reach out to us, you can go to thevocalminority.net. You can email us through that. And you can find us all over the worldwide interweb thing.
That's right. A lot of people have been writing into the website, thevocalminority.net. We appreciate those, and yeah, we do read them. I don't always get back to them, dude. Sometimes I just, I nod along and think, oh, wow, that was great, that kind of thing. So
it's funny. I've been feeling a little beat up the last week or two, just overwhelmed by the news cycle and the pace I'm going at. And we have heard from multiple people, not only from like Really American here, but people that used to listen to us on the radio in Seattle or Wichita, Kansas. I mean, the masses are coming out. I've had people contacting me on my Facebook page, which I don't actually encourage, but people are doing it.
No, I don't ever know how to feel about that shit,
It's flattering, but that's a page for like people I actually know in real life. You don't need to see pictures of my kids, but you can message me, I suppose.
Yeah. We like to contact, and speaking of that, lots of folks here jumping into the chat room already. The show is live 3 minutes after the 3 o'clock hour here on the West Coast. So yes, get involved, get vocal, as it were, in the chat room, and we'll get this bad boy going for y'all.
Yeah, I see a lot of people concerned. The world is on fire. World War III now. Yeah, potentially.
Literally and figuratively, the world is on fire.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Let's start talking about that, right?
Yeah, let's jump in.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
How was Nick handling the news?
Well, we haven't even really got it started yet. So
not well. By the way, a quick belated one-day happy 50th birthday to Nick Reynolds over there.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate your love. It's always nice to get a text from your brother on your birthday, and you always make me feel good. So I appreciate
took the time to call you. I didn't just text.
You did. You texted first and said, "Can I call?"
I charge a lot of money on the internet for that kind of thing. You get it for free. So, yes, you are officially listening to a show hosted by two guys in their 50s. Take that for whatever it might be worth.
I already got the AARP card going, dude. I didn't wait. I was like, I'm doing it today because there's so many benefits, which I'll share with you later. We got important shit to get to.
Okay, yes, we do.
Thank you.
All right. So we went to war this week because why? I don't know. No one knows why.
Yeah, we're not exactly sure. And I mean, I guess there's a lot of different opinions. I do find it funny when we roll into yet another war because, I mean, we're still, I don't know. I guess we're not at war with Venezuela because we just took their country over and now we're operating it, from within. Yeah. But I kind of consider that a war. I mean, it's
I
hostile.
definitely consider that to be war. Yeah. When will Barron be drafted? I actually have news on that topic. We'll get to that eventually. But for whatever fucking reason, there is this theory going around right now in the MAGA world, mainly with congressional people and senators, that we're not actually a war, people. These are just like strategic strikes. So let me just tee up our conversation by playing this fun little montage, courtesy of CNN.
And we may have casualties. That often happens in war.
I don't know if this is technically a war.
We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
This isn't a war. We haven't declared war.
The Secretary of Defense, who calls himself the Secretary of War, said today this is a war.
We set the terms of this war from start to finish.
Nobody should classify this as war. It is combat operations.
War is hell.
Get on the same page.
Strategic strikes are not war.
Oh, okay, sure.
You're hot enough to listen to for about 2 seconds.
And the gold medal for mental gymnastics goes to everyone in the fucking MAGA world who is trying to convince themselves we didn't just start a war. I mean, first of all, it's lasted more than 30 seconds, unlike Venezuela. But I mean, Iran, whether you hate them or really hate them, I mean, they're a modern country with millions and millions of people in modern cities. They're their own government. Like, we killed their leaders. We're bombing the shit out of it. Now they're launching bombs all over the region.
Yeah.
An airport you just flew through in recent modern times just got hit by a missile. I mean, of course, it's obviously fucking war.
Yeah, elementary school children dead because of this. I mean, this is a war, dude. Pete Hegseth said so himself.
Yes.
And even those asshats, the MAGA out there who, completely voted for Donald Trump based on America First, no new wars, peace president, all that bullshit that he sold you, are saying like, don't you want the people of Iran to be liberated? Don't you want them to have a better place to live? Like, you didn't care about that, dude. You can't use that.
And it's such a funny notion that Trump and Hegseth have been saying, like, all right, we killed your leader, go ahead and take over the country. That would be basically the equivalent of any other country killing Trump and Vance and then telling us all, like, okay, just go storm the White House, storm the Capitol, just declare yourselves your own new government.
Figure it out.
It's a preposterous notion to say, like, all right, we took out a couple of your leaders, just go ahead and take over the country now, everybody. They still have an army. They still have a police force. They're still resistance, obviously.
Well, and I think you said like taking out Trump and Vance, it would be that way. But I mean, I think that they took out, I think there's like 15 or more people on that list of who would jump into the spot that are dead and gone.
Yes, no, for sure. So, I mean, this raises a whole bunch of questions, but I think the one maybe all of us should be worried about the most is what is the retaliation going to be? Because obviously they're launching missiles all around the region, but I think a lot of people, especially MAGA ones that are cheering this crap on, are sitting here feeling safe and sound in America. But the big question I've had since Saturday, and I have a news article about the update, is like, what's going to happen here stateside? Is there going to be a terrorist attack?
I don't know. Everything that I'm reading and listening to, it sure does sound like it. Here's a little bit of a video with them setting up the possibility of sleeper cells within the USA.
Okay.
Come on.
I'm here.
The president certainly feels very good about what he has described as a spectacular success, but that success may now be determined by what the next days and weeks look like, with real concerns, not just here, but among the national security and defense community about the potential for retaliation. As my colleague Courtney will get into in further detail, the questions are, is it come in the form of Iran itself? Does it come in the form of Iranian proxies throughout that region? Or, as NBC News is now reporting, we have learned from multiple U.S. officials that Iran sent a private message to President Trump in the days before he gave the final order for those military strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities, that if he took such a step, Iran could respond with terror attacks inside the United States by activating sleeper cells, it says it has within this country. That message, we are told by those officials, those sources, was conveyed to President Trump from an intermediary during his visit to the G7, which took place in Canada less than a week ago. You'll remember the president left abruptly to come back halfway through that visit here to the White House to keep a close eye on the growing escalation between Israel and Iran.
So, I mean, it was threatened before we did all this stuff. So, I don't know. I feel pretty good about like you said, it's a modern country. They've got sleeper cells here.
Well, and they have a long history of assassination attempts around the world, and they've been pretty good at a lot of them. There were attempts in Trump's first administration when he tore up the deal, the Iran nuclear agreement that we had in place. And then they assassinated, or we did some strike that killed one of their top generals. And so, yeah, they unleashed a plan to come after Trump. But we did have this sort of, it was referred to as an elite counterterrorism branch in the FBI there. And part of my story here is the fact that Kash Patel, mere days before we declared war on Iran, those were the FBI agents that we heard about him firing. That he gutted this division known as CI-12, the Bureau's global espionage unit.
Wow.
So they got rid of the people that stopped them from assassinating Trump in his first term, and then they fired these people right before we go back and give Iran a much bigger reason to be coming after elected officials here. And I I hope they know which party's responsible.
Yeah. Did you see Hegseth? He was asked about sleeper cells, and this was his response on the whole thing.
When I get drunk, I wake up.
About some of the domestic threats, if any, regarding this right now. Would there been any concerns about Iranian sleeper cells, and kind of what has the Trump administration been doing to kind of monitor these threats?
Across the interagency, in full coordination, of course, we're paying attention to any potentialities there. This is a former regime, that seeks to export that ideology and try to sow terror. We're ready for that. We've seen these types of folks before, and the American people can rest assured that we're vigilant on that.
People arrogance. We're ready for that. We're watching. We're
completely. And everyone's focused on the fear of Hezbollah and Hamas, saying, "Oh, Trump said they're all gone." Like we defeated them. Like you didn't defeat them over here, bro, for sure. Like they still live amongst us.
No. So, update I've got today, amongst everything else you were just playing there. America's top security veterans are warning that Iranian sleeper cells and radicalized sympathizers may be planning retaliation for America's war on Iran. Federal counter-terror teams have fanned out across the country, bracing for what could come next. In an exclusive interview with the Daily Mail, former DHS senior advisor and Secret Service supervisor Charles Marino said the nation is facing a convergence of threats from Iran-aligned lone wolves to those potential sleeper cells. He said, quote, "It is possible you have 10, 15, 20 people in the country that are part of a cell that then go out and carry out simultaneous or near simultaneous attacks. Yes, this is a distinct possibility." He warns the terrorists seeking maximum carnage would likely target soft events, soft venues, such as crowded concerts, sporting events, public spaces, mass gatherings, the World Cup that's coming up, or who knows what the hell else.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We never know. Do we just stay home from all those events?
That's the problem, right? We got to keep living our lives. I'm going to a concert Friday nights. I'm not going to just stop living my life. But, that mass shooting that just happened down in Texas, that guy, whether he was part of a sleeper cell or just a sympathizer, he certainly seems to have some allegiance to Iran and to what's going on there.
Yeah,
but it's so hard to tell. If you just do a public shooting in America nowadays, that's not going to stand out. It's, and that's sad.
Don't give them any ideas. But I mean, even Texas Governor Greg Abbott stood up and said, sleeper cells must be taken seriously. And that was that Austin shooting, who the suspect said in property of Allah, right. It can happen anywhere, dude. And people are on both sides of the aisle nervous about this, as well as you should be, dude, because we've seen it happen many times before.
Yeah, no, for sure. Someone was just saying here, protest marches. Miss Jean. Protest march. This is what I'm most worried about, quite frankly. I don't mean to be selfish about this, but protest marches would be the people in America that are against all of this crap. Don't go blowing up our protest marches, and don't blow up something in New York City. I'm just saying, I got to phrase this correctly, but I hope they target their rage correctly. Yeah. And I don't necessarily mean that in a manifested sort of way. Just know who the enemy here is. Don't go blowing up Democrats or blue states or something. We're the ones trying to stop this madman.
What was it like in your area? I mean, you live in a MAGA area. What did you see since this war commenced? Anything without in the public?
I've left my house since.
Oh, wow. Golly, you don't even go to the store. Huh?
No, listen, in my community, I do somewhat keep to myself, but I'm not seeing a lot of support for it per se. I mean, the mega world is divided right now. Some people have just reflexively, all of a sudden, they've wanted to invade Iran forever. And even though there's been zero mention of this never came up in the campaign. It's never been fucking heard of. Matt Walsh, prominent, conservative talking head, put out a tweet today just saying, where are all you people coming from? All of a sudden now you want to invade Iran? This has never come up. I mean, Tom Cotton today, senator from Arkansas, I think he is. He said that the threat from Iran has been imminent for 47 years. Imminent. for
eminent. Well, then why did you guys? Why did even Trump speak out against it when Obama was in office?
Of course, and nothing can be eminent for 47 years. Eminent means it's going to happen soon. So by definition, you just shot yourself down, because if it's been eminent for 47 years, apparently it's way overblown.
Yeah.
And I do have a little montage of Trump. Do you want to hear him contradicting himself?
Please, love it.
Yeah, I mean, I know some of this has been making the rounds, but this is a good one that, CNN put together for us. Maybe.
Sometimes you got to hit play on that button.
Oh, come on.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. This was our last best chance to strike. We more and more are not wanting to be the policemen of the world. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat. She would get us into World War III. They're drafting you to go and fight in some country that I've never heard. We may have casualties. That often happens in war. Sadly, there will likely be more.
You're so callous, dude. I understand on one side of the coin. Like, if we're going to war, that is factual. Like, we're probably going to have some casualties, right?
Of course.
But just to have the respect of not being so fucking callous about it. I mean, you're talking about young men and women who signed the dotted line and said, yes, I will fight for our country and I will go protect our country. And we didn't see that here because there was no imminent danger. We went to them. We took the war to them.
Of course. Yes, obviously, if we're in war, there's going to be casualties. Why are we in a war, though? This was unprompted. It's clearly unconstitutional. The reason all those congressmen that I played earlier are saying, no, this isn't war, because they know goddamn fucking well they have to declare war. It's a congressional power, and they haven't done it because Trump doesn't give a shit what they're talking about or saying. So, that's the whole problem. Marco Rubio said yesterday that, Israel was about to invade Iran, and then Iran would have counter-striked, over here with us and Israel. So Israel forced our hand. And then someone asked Trump today, is it true? Did Israel force your hand? And Trump never wants to look like he's been pushed around. So he completely contradicted Rubio. It was like, no, they don't force my hand. A strike was imminent. Meanwhile, the intelligence community said they're about 10 years away from being able to strike America. 10 years.
There's so much contradiction going on right now because this happened so freaking fast, dude. And when you bring up, not getting congressional approval, I've been looking into this, dude. Let's hear. Marco Rubio was asked, why didn't you get congressional approval for this? This was his answer.
Well, we did. We notified Congress. We notified the Gang of Eight. We notified congressional leadership. There's no law that requires us to do that. The law says we have to notify them 48 hours after beginning hostilities. We've done that. I think the notification went today. But we did notify members of Congress in advance. But we can't notify 535 members of Congress. Well, the Congress can vote on whatever they want, but there's no law that requires us to do that. And I want to say something because I see people on TV. Look, that's fine. If they want to take a war powers vote, they can do that. They've done that. They've done that a bunch of times. But people keep saying that there's no law that requires the president to have done anything with regards to this. To begin with, no presidential administration has ever accepted the War Powers Act as constitutional. Not Republican presidents, not Democratic presidents. That said, we have followed the notification at 48 hours. We're here today. I've done more Gang of Eight briefings than I got in the 4 years that Biden was president and I was a member of the Gang of Eight. All of that said, we've complied with the law 100%.
It's interesting, dude, because I looked into that and tried to do a little research on it because I was like, hey, that doesn't sound right to me. And there is some shit he's saying in there that I guess is somewhat true. Not that it is constitutional per se, but there is some gray in it, and that Democrat and Republican presidents of the past have not completely followed that. So notifying Congress after strikes not to give prior approval for limited actions, like he said, limited
actions, yes,
limited actions, which is defined by something that is very short, but less than 30 days. So if this were to go on for longer than 30 days, I think that's why Trump's playing the language of this will be over in 4 weeks, you know.
Potentially, yes. Listen, Rachel Maddow wrote a great book called Drift that I read not too long ago. And it's about the fact, I think it's called Drift, the unmooring of our, military infrastructure, that essentially presidents going back into the 60s have just slowly been moving away from getting congressional approval.
Right.
Started mainly in Vietnam. We took a little step. Reagan took another bigger step. Each president has furthered that gap as to what they can get away with without getting congressional approval. But this defies all of that because we have declared an unprompted war. Normally, any of those strategic strikes or limited operations are in retaliation to something, or they've come to the public, they've got an international coalition, they've made a case, we're going to do a targeted strike because this or that's happening.
Yeah.
This you just bombed the living shit out of a country, killed their leadership, prolonged strikes. Now it's just spreading throughout the Middle East. This, terror cells potentially coming here. Like, this is on a different level. And fucking little Marco Rubio, who's probably standing on a phone book there, knows goddamn well.
Well,
all of these people, including Rubio, used to say, like, no, we're not the world's police. We can't declare war without congressional approval. But now that they're on the other side, of course, they're. And as you and I have been talking about, Trump wants to get away with everything he can. He wants to play with every toy he's got. And declaring wars. Trump has broken a record here. Peace president breaks record for attacking the most countries. Wannabe Nobel laureate Donald Trump has now ordered attacks against a greater number of countries than any other president in modern U.S. history. The list would be Iran, Nigeria, Venezuela, Iraq, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen. So it is unprecedented, and they're all playing fucking semantic games.
They say the only thing now is for Dems to push for the WPR votes to limit Trump, but GOP likely blocks. And I don't know what good it'll do other than to show like, yeah, we will stand up to you. But if we have no power to get past you, then, are we wasting our time?
Yeah, probably. Have you seen all the jokes about, they're calling this epic fury,
Yes.
EF? Which is also Epstein files.
Oh, I didn't see that. No, that's funny.
Yeah, same initials. Or Epstein Fury is the other name I keep hearing people.
That's funny.
And of course, it's a distraction. And the actual answer, I do believe, as to why he's doing this, beyond, it's a distraction for this, that, and the other thing, Epstein, failing domestic agendas, all that stuff. But we know, not only did Israel ask him to do this, as Israel's been asking every president for the last umpteen years, but Saudi Arabia also asked Trump to do it. And all of the business dealings and ties that Trump and his family have with Saudi Arabia, all of this Israeli backing, the genocide that happened in Gaza, like his international buddies put him up to it, and he was dumb enough to take the bait and clearly didn't think out why we're getting into it or how we're getting out of it.
You're 100% correct. This video will highlight what you just said from somebody who knows a little more about it.
My family lives in Tel Aviv. My aunt and uncle and cousin literally are texting me from the bomb shelter. So, I take Israel's security very seriously. It's literally my family. And Bibi Netanyahu has literally been trying to get presidents from both parties to do a regime change operation in Iran with him for decades. Donald Trump is just the first one stupid enough to actually do it.
Yeah, I believe that too.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, that is really what's going on. And they just keep jumping all over the place as to why we did this. And they're doing that because there is no solid reason. Because obviously, any other time you get a coalition, you make your case, just fucking run off and bomb a country.
And you know what?
Iran will keep fighting back. I don't think they're going to go quietly.
Yeah, why wouldn't they? I mean, what else? This is a great thing. I'll play this for you and see if you agree with this.
President Trump issued a warning overnight, warning the Iranians not to retaliate. He said they better not do that. If they do, we will hit them with a force that has never been seen before. How do you respond?
Well, I don't think any leader of a country has the right to say so. We are defending ourselves, and we have every legitimate right to defend ourselves. What the United States is doing is an act of aggression. What we are doing is the act of self-defense. there are huge differences between these two. So one should tell, the President of the United States, do not attack, do not, make any aggression against another country. But nobody can tell us that you don't have any right to defend yourselves. We are defending ourselves, whatever it takes, and we see no limit for ourselves to defend our people, to protect our people. Just look, yesterday they hit a school. So far, 148 girls, students have been killed.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like they're going to stop.
No. And I hate being put in a position to somewhat defend Iran. Like, just like with Venezuela and Maduro, I'm not saying that these people are like good people, but there's a global thing going on here. Sovereign nations and coalitions and ramifications. Actions have consequences. Yeah. And I find it so fucking funny. I've heard a few people on the news, Republicans talking about Iran in Venezuela, these murderous regimes, authoritarian murderous regimes. And I'm just like, are you talking about us or them?
It started to become hard to tell who you're talking about, right?
We're a murderous authoritarian regime right now, whether it's people on boats or ICE agents killing us in the streets or bombing 7 different nations. We are literally a murderous authoritarian regime right now. So who are we to now tell Russia to stay out of Ukraine or tell China to stay out of Taiwan?
Right.
Like, our hypocrisy would be so fucking obvious right now. America used to have the moral high ground. That's why we were the unofficial leaders of the world. And we've lost that entirely.
It's the key word. Folks, there are, Fetterman is obviously like, oh, we did the right thing. We've got a few Democrats stepping out and saying like, yeah, we needed to take care of this. This was an imminent threat. There's no one that can tell me that other than Iran. Yeah, we were getting ready to go at you. This was a good thing. But, you can't prove that right now. And if you can, show it to us, and I'll shut up.
Well, they can't.
Right.
I did a video a couple of weeks ago about this, and I played a montage of every president, starting with H.W. Bush, Clinton, W. Bush, Obama, Biden, Trump #1, all of them saying, Iran, it's imminent. They're a few months away from having a bomb. But
yeah,
and maybe at some windows in time that was true, and that's why Obama negotiated the Iran nuclear deal. We're trying to keep we had international regulators watching over them. So
yeah,
it's not true now. Not to mention Trump, 6 months ago claimed to obliterate their, nuclear weapons. And
yeah, the way he talks about it, he talks about obliterating their nuclear weapons, but he doesn't talk about the people. Either you care about the Iranian people or you don't. I mean, you just killed a school full of them, and there'll be many more killed. So yeah, do you care about them or not?
No, of course not. And let me see here. What was Take Back the House says, so Trump is going to hit Iran with a force they've never seen before. What, a nuclear bomb? Trump, I am telling you, would love to launch a nuke on somebody. Yes. He wants that on his resume and the history books. He wants to play with all the toys. It's why we use that, sonic device in Venezuela. It's why we're shooting down our own drones with lasers. He wants to play with every toy. I am telling you, he would love to launch a nuke. And Iran, in his opinion, would be the perfect place to do it. Again, Tehran, I don't know if you've ever seen videos of that. It's a modern city.
Yeah,
millions and millions of people looking and acting like you and I, look at Americans, and yes, he would love to launch a nuke. This is my fear of the escalation. Iran, they do have the right to defend themselves. We just picked a fight, so now they're going to hit back. If they do this sleeper cell terrorist attack here in America, Trump will set off a fucking nuke over there.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think you're probably right. So, yeah, is this something that we could have, if you were kind of worried about it, just sat back and watched? This just doesn't seem like the time to go in. Let's hear from this gentleman here. Oh, you're not playing?
I've said now, I said before, I've said now, there was no imminent threat to the United States of America by the Iranians. There was a threat to Israel. But if we equate a threat to Israel as the equivalent of an imminent threat to the United States, then we are in uncharted territory.
Unprecedented territory.
We have seen the goals for this operation change now, I believe, 4 or 5 times. This is still a war of choice.
See, I mean, that's exactly right. This is a war of choice. I've got Pete Hegseth videos I can play for you that are just unbelievable, dude. As I'm watching some of these Pete Hegseth videos today, I'm thinking to myself, Hegseth gets on and loves to talk about this shit. Because he was in the military. He's leading stuff now. He's doing stuff. But the way they talk about it is like a sports team. Like I would talk to you about, Michigan versus Seattle. And I'd be like, you guys are so fucking weak. We'll dominate. We'll get you. That's the way he talks about it. And, here's proof of that. A couple different videos from Hegseth.
We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it. Their war on Americans has become our retribution against their Ayatollah and his death cult. It took the 47th president, a fighter who always puts America first, to finally draw the line after 47 years of Iranian belligerence. He reminded the world, as he has time and time again, being an American means something unbreakable. If you kill Americans, if you threaten Americans anywhere on earth, we will hunt you down without apology and without hesitation, and we will kill you.
The thing also is I've never heard anyone talk like this in the past of praising the president while you're giving your speech. Like you would usually get on and talk about the mission, what happened, what's going on, but you wouldn't sit there and just suck the dick of Donald Trump every time you speak.
Of course. And by the way, if Hegseth was being sincere there, why didn't Trump do this in his first term? Why wasn't this a campaign issue? Why haven't we been talking about this the whole last year?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, they're all full of shit. They just dragged us into a war that has no good outcome. And even Trump, I think it was today, said like, yeah, who knows? Like someone could take over that's even worse than the Ayatollah.
Like you?
Right, yeah, really. I mean, if you don't have a plan, then yeah, who knows? That's always the problem with regime change, that you don't know who's going to fill that gap. And this notion of you citizens of Iran, just go take over the capital.
Yeah. People have been referring to Donald Trump as a weapon of mass destruction. Like, we'll just sign him up to run your country for 4 years. He'll be dead. The country will be gone,
Well, he's declared himself the president of Venezuela. I'm waiting for him to do the same for Iran. Like,
yeah,
it's craziness.
Steve, do you know what a squirter is?
A squirter?
Yeah.
Well, yes. I don't know if it's the context you're talking about, but yes.
Well, let's let Pete Hegseth talk about the squirter, as it were.
Okay.
As it pertains to the U.S. casualties, that particular incident was, you have air defenses and the lot's coming in and you hit most of it. And we absolutely do. We have incredible air defenders. Every once in a while, you might have one, unfortunately, we call it a squirter that makes its way through. And in that particular case, it happened to hit a tactical operations center that was fortified, but these are powerful weapons.
Yeah, so they're powerful. Like some people are gonna die. I hate that this is just so callous. They're like, well, we've lost 3 people. It's up today. I mean, more people have died.
Yes. This whole people are going to die. I'm okay with that. Like, I'm glad you're comfortable with that, Trump and Hegseth and all this shit. And people keep asking the question on here, send Barron. Shall I address why apparently Barron is ineligible for military service?
Yeah.
The answer is not bone spurs. I don't know if those are hereditary or not, but get this. Furious Americans are demanding that if a full-scale war necessitates a military draft, which is probably not likely, but members of the Trump family should also be expected to serve. Over the weekend, the hashtag #SendBarron was trending on X and elsewhere. However, a medical exemption could potentially shield 19-year-old Barron Trump, who is not the son of Donald Trump. I will stick with that contention of mine. Right. Where did that height come from? No one else in the Trump world. It's some European basketball player. That's the real dad. But anyways, however, military medical exemption could exempt him. Barron towers at an impressive 6'9", which again, that does not come from the Trump gene pool, which could potentially make him too tall for the Army, especially for roles that involve confined spaces like tanks or aircraft. The maximum height restriction, get this, is 6'8". I think we can make an exception, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yes,
He can punch down an
executive power, dude. I think he could make a call.
I think he'll be okay. If he bangs his head once or twice, he's taking one for the team.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's almost as bullshit as his dad's bone spurs. Like, 6'8". Oh, I'm 6'9". Damn, I can't serve in the Army.
Yes. It's hysterical. I mean, like you said, I don't think there's, God hope there's not going to be a draft out of this war. I mean, that's what people are worried about. Like, is this the new Iraqi war? Does this turn into a never-ending war?
Of course, that's what we're worried about.
So, if it does, maybe we'll have to have a draft. I don't know. But yeah, Barron, come on, sack up, dude.
Yeah. Well, listen, I got a teenage son, so if there is a draft, then this is going to be really Canadian media because I'm going to move up to there. So.
Yeah, we're not too proud to jump lines.
Yeah, right. And by the way, Canada, like I think we could use some regime change. So we have a murderous authoritarian regime. Seriously, what would stop another country from using the exact same logic on us?
I know that Pete Hegseth, leader of the Department of Defense, is a former Fox News host, but weekend host. That's right. He didn't even have a Monday through Friday gig. But you think, so all those Fox hosts must be dumb. All those ex-military people that work for Fox News must be idiots. Take a listen to what this Fox host has to say that is a Marine.
Important to me, and I believe if I'm the host of a show, a guy who's gone and fought these wars and done funerals at Arlington, it's incumbent upon me to stop for a moment. I understand that 3 is a small number.
Yep.
But 3 lives lost, 3 Americans killed in action is hundreds, if not thousands of lives affected, really millions for every American out there that understands what that's like. And, I've seen it, I've experienced it. We've been at war for less than 24 hours or right at 24 hours. I want to point out to the audience and let you respond. What's different here for me is to understand that these men and women, whoever they are, that died in this counterattack, they didn't say goodbye to their families contemplating their own mortality the way a lot of us did for 20 years of going to war. They didn't know they were going to an active war. Of course, when you raise your right hand, you swear to defend, you join the military, and you go somewhere like the Middle East, it's a possibility, if not a probability. But I think that's important, and I think it's okay for any Americans who are saying, wait just a minute, tell me more. Tell me why we're at war. Explain to me why this was imminent.
Yeah. I mean, at least, my wife served, and she's not a combat veteran, but she's a veteran. And I always tell her, she's like, I'm not a combat vet. I never had to walk into war. I'm like, it doesn't matter, dude. You sign up on that, your name on the dotted line saying that if it comes to that, you'll be there ready to go.
Well, not to mention she was at a base over there in the Middle East, right?
Yes.
I mean, the rocket attacks and, roadside munition, all that stuff can happen to anybody. You don't necessarily have to be on the front line.
Right.
And I applaud that Fox News host because, like he said, he's been to funerals at Arlington.
Yeah.
He is speaking like somebody who has experienced it.
Yeah.
And for anybody to say, only 1 died, only 3 died, someone just said we're up to 6 now today, like, those are 6 lives, 6 families, 6 mothers or fathers or brothers or sisters never coming home again. If that is your relative, your buddy, you would never in a million fucking years say, I just lost 1 friend. Like, I guess it's okay because Trump wanted to make Saudi Arabia happy.
And he's not exaggerating, dude, that 1 life lost like that can have this huge effect of, 1,000. It affects 1,000, 10,000, whatever it may be. I would encourage anyone to go to D.C., go to Arlington and watch the ceremony of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Like, it's emotional, it's crazy, and you can't talk about war like, yes, we've lost 3 lives, there will be more. Like, that's a lot of bullshit sitting behind your desk in the Resolute office, you know.
And we're just starting. Not to mention people have been injured, not to mention PTSD. I mean, the list goes on and on. This is the arrogance to just say, like, hey, it's war.
Yeah.
We were playing the clip earlier, whether or not this is war. Like, obviously, for all intent and purposes, it is war. But it isn't. We have not declared war.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to do it, then fucking man up and do it. It's just like the tariffs. If you're so confident in your agenda there, Trump, then fucking get the Congress and the Senate to sign off on it.
Exactly. Republicans are raising eyebrows at this, and here's one of them that we've been playing a lot of video from as of late, just because, well, she's been making a lot of sense, oddly enough. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene on her thoughts about what's going on here.
Yes.
He said to the New York Post today that he doesn't care about the polling. He doesn't care about what the American people think, and he may put troops on the ground. He took this is going to be a few-day war, to now it's going to be maybe 4 weeks or more. I want to say, what is happening to the man that I supported, you supported, the man that denounced what happened in Iraq, the man that said no more foreign wars, no more regime change, promised it on the campaign. J.D. Vance promised it. Tulsi Gabbard promised it.
Right.
All of them promised it. And we're a year in, and we're in another fucking war, and we've got American troops being killed. I think it's time for America to rip the Band-Aid off, and we need to have a serious conversation about what the fuck is happening to this country and who in the hell are these decisions being made for, and who is making these decisions.
Yeah, it's not a political chubby. Wow, right.
You know, I appreciate the passion behind it, and you know what? I'm not a huge fan, obviously, of MTG, but I am asking all of you on the Republican side. I don't know. I'll try and reach the MAGA aisle, but I don't go there very often. Stand up and be as passionate about what she was just talking about. Stop with the fucking mental gymnastics and stand up and say, these are all the things they said, and this is why I dropped his name in the ballot box. And be pissed. This is crazy, dude.
Yeah. Lady Kirishonka, that BSE does too care about polling. He's being defiant because we have rejected his bullshit agenda. You know, as we always say, Trump cares about his public perception, and he does shit like this and waits to see what the response is going to be. And that's why we all have to be railing on this and getting vocal. It's the mantra around here. 1 in 4 Americans, based on a poll that came out yesterday from Ipsos, said they were in favor of this. Only 25% of the country,
right,
meaning 75% of us are against it. That's very hard to get that sort of numbers for being pro or con on anything.
Yes.
And Trump, when he was doing some fucking press conference today from the Oval Office, it's part of a video I did for Really American Today, but he had the balls to say that I've never gotten so many compliments for anything I've done in this war. I'm just getting so many compliments, except of course Democrats, they don't like it. And yeah, gas prices are going to increase. So people that don't like high gas don't like it. And European allies, well, Spain's pissed at us and the United Kingdom's pissed at us.
Right.
So it's everyone loves it except the Democrats, most Americans, most of Europe.
But it is funny because, you know, when you talk about a vocal minority, that is also who is hoorahing this whole thing. It is the people that are in front of him immediately that can sit there and be like, this is badass, sir. You're doing the right thing. He loves to hear it. It melts his heart. And until he starts hearing from others, you know, that are not in this echo chamber, he's not going to, I don't know if he's going to change any of his ways anyway, but he's not going to make any changes.
No, of course not. It is time for regime change around here. And as somebody just commented, like he's trying to rig the 2026 midterms. Yeah, you know, we've been talking about that for a while. Never forget that clip when Zelensky was in the Oval Office and he told Trump that in the Ukrainian constitution, you cannot have an election when you're at war. Yes. And Trump just got all Dr. Evil sort of so you're at war, no elections. And Zelensky even had that uncomfortable look of yeah, you like what I'm saying there, huh?
Yeah, and there was somebody who asked him outside the White House just a couple of days as he was boarding his helicopter. They said, you know, are you going to put this into action? And he was like, where did you hear that? You've been saying it. You've been outrightly saying it.
Yes, no, for sure. Whether it's this, that, or the other thing, he's going to come up with an excuse, the national emergency, the terrorist threat, whatever it is. And yes, distracting from everything else too. It's insanity.
Yeah. Attorney Mark Geragos, do you know who it is when I say it?
No.
Okay. Well, he's an attorney and he does a podcast. It's called, I think it's called Two Old Men or something like that. But he called in to TMZ because I guess he's friends with Harvey, whatever is it? No, Keitel, I think is. Yeah.
Oh, Harvey Keitel. Yeah. Sorry.
This took place before we bombed Iran. Okay, here you go. Watch this video.
Okay.
You're in Washington, D.C. You could have gone to a million places to do a podcast where it was calm, and you choose Joe Stonecrab.
I actually was going to leave, but the conversation that I was overhearing on the next table over was so fascinating I couldn't leave.
Oh, spill it. Spill it.
I think things are happening by the time this drops in Iran is what I'll leave it at that.
You're kidding me. Somebody from the government was next to you?
I'm just going to leave it at that.
No. What did they say?
That today is the day. Friday as we're sitting here.
Are you serious?
Literally just heard it at the next table. So I'll leave it at that.
Holy crap.
So, dude, between 3 and 3:45 p.m., Geragos arrives, starts overhearing the talk at this restaurant. Just hours later, U.S. and Israel bomb Iran.
Yeah.
So it's another one of those old Pete Hegseth things, you know, when they were talking on the chat about an invasion they were doing. Like this is crazy because these people do not treat sensitive information with any sensitivity.
No.
That they would be in Joe's crab shack having this conversation next to people.
Did you see the pictures of Trump at his golf resort declaring war, trying to recreate the iconic Obama picture?
Yes.
But they're in Mar-a-Lago and they have this like paper thin black curtain around them as they're assaulting and invading another country. Like the busboy could have walked by and watched the entire fucking thing. And what do you think about these people that have made apparently millions of dollars betting on when we were going to invade Iran? Because
it's crazy.
Allowed nowadays. We can bet on anything.
I think it's gross, dude. I think it's so sick that we can bet on this type of stuff. And I mean, I guess that's where I sit. It's completely
who is
gross.
Because somebody did it with Venezuela, and now somebody did it with Iran. So is it Donald Jr.? Is it MD? I mean,
you
who
mean
is
telling people or betting?
Both. Like somebody knew, and then they went and placed a bet on one of these websites.
Yeah.
So is it a Trump family member? Is it Hegseth himself? Like who? Somebody is literally making millions of dollars off insider trading.
Yes. Yeah. What's the whole thing? The Party of Eight that Rubio said that he talks
Gang of
to?
Eight.
Gang of Eight. Yeah. Maybe it was one of them. I mean, who knows? Who knows who it was? But we have information that's not supposed. My wife, I'll mention again, she was in the military and she had a lot of stuff that she knew that she can't ever talk about. And you would think, you don't know how many times I've been like I'm your husband, dude. Like, give me a little. She's like, no, I can't. It's classified. I can't tell you that information. That's how most people act. They
take it seriously.
Take it seriously, dude. I can't talk about that.
Yes. No, we're not living in that world anymore. So,
yeah. We did see that people have died, including those children in Iran. Did you see Trump was talking to heroes? What he did, he was giving a little speech in the Oval Office about heroes and people that have died.
No.
Okay, here's this.
Today, we grieve for the 4 heroic American service members who have been killed in action and send our love and support to their families. In their memory, we continue this mission with ferocious, unyielding resolve to crush the threat this terrorist regime poses to the American people. And we're heading on to the building a little bit. We're improving the building.
This is during that.
Drape. When that comes down right now, you see a very, very deep hole. In about a year and a half.
The difference between him reading and him just talking.
So nice, I don't think I'll spend money in the doors because you can't get more beautiful than that. I picked those drapes in my first term.
I'll spare you, dude. He goes on for 1 minute and 20 seconds, talking about his drapes and the ballroom and everything. And finally somebody stood up and called him out on it, just like this.
4 service members died today, and Donald Trump spent more time talking about his ballroom than he did about the loss of those lives.
Thank you, Gavin.
Review the tape.
We
Spend
did.
more time talking about the curtains and his ballroom than into the 4 service members that died because of his operation in his declaration of war without congressional consent. He still has not articulated clear vision of what the end game is, period, full stop.
Wow.
And he's not the only one. Like, a lot of us are, feeling like, oh, gosh, you just don't care about the kids, the men and women signing up to go do your bidding. Here's a representative talking about the fact that he's got to explain to his constituents, and he can't do it. He just can't do it.
How do you feel right now when you see what's happening, when you see and hear what you were just briefed on, some of which I know is confidential and classified?
I just think that we didn't have to be here. I spent yesterday down in Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake, where 40% of the people I was talking to had sons and daughters and friends that were deployed on the Ford and these other ships where their loved ones are in harm's way and potentially future casualties, because there was acknowledgement today that there will be more casualties. And if I can't answer them, what's our goal? Why is my kid potentially going to be put in harm's way? What is America's overwhelming interest that my son or daughter is going to be in combat and may perish? For what? And I can't give them an answer? Yeah, that is very, very sobering to me.
It should be.
Yeah. Wow. As Janet here says, Trump is the terrorist. He's disgusting and has no empathy. Narcissistic sociopath. I can't disagree with anything you said there. I mean, I'm not a professional, but yeah, I mean, all of that rings true. And the fact that he just can't even feign acting like a normal human. I mean, like I said, I don't know if you could hear me talking over him or not, but the first part, he was clearly reading off a teleprompter, which is fine, but he's sitting there reading that for 12 seconds. And then when it's just back to his brain, he's talking about the fucking drapes in his ballroom. Because that is all he cares about is himself and his vanity projects. Like, why every fucking mega-ite out there is not rebelling against this? How this is not breaking the dam wide open. And I know it is with some, but talk about fucking disgusting. And kudos to Gavin Newsom for getting out there and immediately calling him out.
Yes, 100% agree with you.
God.
I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what, I told you I had a conversation. I think I told you this, and if I didn't, here it is. I talked with my brother 6 days ago. We were having a conversation on politics. He's MAGA, for the audience that doesn't know.
Yeah.
And he was saying, are you happy about anything that's going on? Peace in the Middle East? I was like, no, this is a fucking ticking time bomb, dude. I don't believe it. I was like, we're about to go to war with Iran. And he was like, no, we're not. They're so afraid of us. They're not gonna do anything. Like, we're not gonna, that's bullshit. I was like, mark my words. And it happened 3 days later. So my phone didn't ring for a few days. Well, it rang yesterday finally. And he was like, I don't know what's going on over in Iran, dude. I was like, no one does, but I told you it was coming. It's sobering to these people, these MAGAs that have believed all of his bullshit and said, like, peace through strength, T-shirts and shit. Like, no. He wants to play with everything. He's going to do it. Kids will die. Men and women will die.
But did your brother denounce him? Or is he just like, gee, this is awkward, and hey, how's the weather there today?
He didn't denounce him, but he, I've told you this before. He's falling more into a confusion of like, I don't know. I just don't know anymore. So I feel like he's getting closer to jumping off that ledge, saying like, yeah, I don't want anything to do with it anymore. He's the closest he's ever been, but he still hasn't done it. It's such a prideful thing at this point for you to not denounce this shit.
Yeah. I mean, listen, like we were talking about at the top of the show, if there is, and I don't want it, but obviously if there is some sort of a domestic terrorist attack, like I would like to think that people like your brother would be their final straw. I mean, for some reason, there's a disconnect when it's servicemen and women over across the big ocean. But if there's a terrorist attack here, By the way, I'm not saying it's disconnect for me. I'm just speaking the mentality out there. But
yeah,
like, yeah, if this does hit the home base, then I would. If anyone is still defending him at that point, like, what the hell would it take?
See, and that's where another one of our differences here is that, yeah, maybe he'll wake up when it's somebody on our home turf and we see it affect people in our community. But even if you're not affected by the fact that a school of young children was taken out, and just, we just read over that shit. This puts it in context, dude, about what that looks like. Some of the aftermath, very little of the aftermath looks like. Look at that shit, dude. Those are the graves that they are digging for the attack on those schoolgirls. Like, that's... So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, does it have to happen here before you wake up, or is this enough for you that you can look at that and be like, I don't want any innocent people to die, especially when we don't even have a mission?
Well, yeah, certainly enough for me.
Yeah.
I can't confirm this at the moment by Naomi here. Breaking names released of 4 out of the 6 dead Americans killed. Drone strike in Kuwait, friendly fire. I mean, we've already seen some friendly fire incidents happen, and I saw Trump kind of write that off. Well, it was friendly fire. Like, don't start none, won't be none. Don't put our troops there. There won't be friendly fire. Like, you're the one that put them there. Whatever happens.
Yeah. And, think about this, Harness. We've spent almost an hour talking about this, which in the grand scheme of things is a very little amount of time. But we've dedicated our whole podcast to talking about this, and not once have we mentioned these Epstein files.
Well, except for the Epstein Fury thing.
Yes, right. But, people
You're saying it's working?
Yeah, it's working. It's completely working. I mean, we had the deposition of Bill and Hillary happen, and even that's been pretty flatline news,
Yes.
I mean, there's been a couple of things, here and there, but, you would think that all the MAGA would be like, yeah, he just admitted, and going crazy for all this stuff. I found one thing in those deposition videos that's worth playing, and we got to play it before we leave.
Sure. Listen, don't play it right yet.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, like, this is the quote-unquote genius of Trump. He overwhelms the news cycle. Yeah. And you and I have talked about before, like, what are we supposed to do? I would love it on one level if all the media just stopped covering Trump, stop putting fuel on the fire, stop feeding all of that stuff. But we can't. He is the president. If we don't watch him, can you imagine what he'd get away with?
No.
I mean, the alternative is probably even worse than the reality we're living in right now. And yeah, we can't ignore a war. Like, I know it's a distraction. And the fact that at least people like us keep pointing that out is something. But
yeah,
I mean, you got to cover it all. And I just, it is truly an evil genius kind of move to just overwhelm everything so that you can't focus on one thing.
Rachel on Monday morning, as she got up for work, she was getting ready, and I was kind of getting her out of the house, getting lunch together and stuff. And she's like, I was like, what's the matter? And she was, she just looked somber and kind of exasperated. She's like, I just go to work today. Like, what's happening is fucking normal. Like, I just go do my job and care about other shit. I'm like, unfortunately.
I will tell you, one of the many good things about Really American Media, we try very hard to focus on things that are not the major headline of the day. Like, we cover that stuff too, but between podcasts like you and me and the Really American podcast and all the individual hosts, we try very hard to find the other things that are not the main headlines.
Yeah.
So do check things out, do support it. I did a whole thing about Epstein just 2 days ago. There was somebody put a walk of shame in Washington, D.C., It's modeled after the Walk of Fame in Hollywood, and it was stars of all of the people in the Epstein files that had QR codes linking to supporting documents as to why their name was there. And, I mean, you got to cover all this stuff too. So independent journalism, like Really American is, like, do your best to share our content because, we're going to touch on the big stuff, but we're also going to try to cover all of the other stuff too.
Yes. This is a great comment. We have to call them out every time. We can't normalize this behavior. We talked about February fatigue. Now we're into March. It's time to ramp up. We have to continue talking about this shit because you're right. It's exhausting. But if we stop, it becomes the norm.
Yeah, it really is a new kind of March Madness going on right now. So.
Yes.
Go ahead
Okay.
and play your clip now. Yes.
Oh, I'll play my clip, dude. Let me preface this by saying, like, I've always said, if Bill Clinton's guilty of anything with Epstein, lock his ass up, do whatever you want with him. But I couldn't help but look at this deposition clip. And the question that's asked is somewhat serious, but just look at the smile that is on Bill Clinton's face for this entire thing.
Again, it's from GMAX, Ghislaine Maxwell. It says, sorry to hear about the Belzberg stuff is bad news, even worse, that it may be damaging. You know that one of my pet fears is that in London I am press toxic, so I hope that I never add to your woes in that department. If I hear anything, I will of course let you know. I could not help myself. There was one juicy little tidbit I did let out, the one about what a super stud that you are and how I have a crush on you and how you are hung like a horse. And, well, you get the picture. Hope you don't mind.
Look
at the time that it was sent, were you familiar with it?
Oh, no.
Are you familiar with it before?
Yes, it's
Okay.
now famous.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody knows.
He's elated.
Yes.
Is that his lawyer that read that out loud?
No. But it is so damn funny to me. And like I said, if he's guilty, yes, he's a creep. I want him locked up for everything. But the way he sat back, crossed his arms, and smiled, like, yeah, it's famous now. Everyone knows I'm hung like a horse. So.
Well, I'm under oath, so yes, I am hung like a horse.
Gotta tell the truth. Oh, man.
That's mildly funny. I also was wondering, I was talking to someone else this week about the Clintons testifying. Like, obviously it's a circus, a sideshow distraction, try to blame the Dems and why isn't Trump testifying, et cetera, et cetera. But what was anyone hoping for? That Clinton was just going to get up there. Oh yeah, no, I knew what was going on. I was on that plane. Oh, is this microphone on? Like, what you think he was going to say? I mean, come on.
Yes, 100%. I mean, there was nothing that was going to come out of it that, you know, I don't think there's anything going to happen with these Epstein files, but come on.
Well, I mean, time will tell. I mean, I do applaud all the journalists out there that are going through every single page and noticing file numbers that don't match up and pages that are missing. And everyone, you know, Midas Touch has been great about it. Reuters has been great. NPR has been great, like screenshotting everything. And every day they go back to see if it's still there or not. And I mean, this whole Clinton thing was a big distraction. And, you know, Hillary Clinton testified and they ran out of questions. So they're asking about UFOs and Pizzagate.
Pizzagate, yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And the video of her today that, you know, because this stuff all finally got released and of her, you know, going at it with Nancy Mace. And Nancy Mace trying to say that Hillary Clinton was unhinged. No, you were being an asshole to her, and she was not going to take it. So I applaud Hillary for getting vocal and for raising her voice a little.
Yeah.
Why is it when a woman raises her voice, she is unhinged? But Hegseth can sit up there all day long, and he's a tough guy.
He's a tough, powerful guy. You know, yeah. There's a big difference there. It was interesting that Lauren Boebert took the picture of her. Did you hear anything about it?
Yeah, they had just read the fucking rules to everyone that this was a closed hearing and you cannot be sharing anything. So yeah, Boebert takes a picture and sends it to fucking Benny Little Dick Johnson or whatever his name is.
Yes. And, you know, everybody knows that when you're in a courtroom, you can't take pictures and send them out. Like, she knew that. Oh, I'll delete it right away, she said. But Hillary was not happy.
No, and she had every right not to be happy. So.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's about our time. Thanks for being so vocal today. Lots of people in the chat today. And, yeah, you guys are doing the work of this country to keep things out in the open, talking with people, and you're getting vocal, and we appreciate it.
Yep, indeed. So, share all the content you see here on Really American. You can contact Nick and I directly if you go to thevocalminority.net. And, yeah, get vocal. It's a fun little mantra we have, and it's more important than ever. So, please comment like you guys are. This is a live show. It's why we do it live. Nick and I were on the radio forever, and this is what we enjoy doing. But we do it so you guys can interact. So, thank you to the hundreds of people in the chat room right now. And, share away and comment away with all of this.
And we do 2 of these bad boys a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, your political weeks in review. And yeah, we'll see you on Friday.
And that'll do it for another edition of The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. Thanks for joining us on the Really American Media platform. Check out all our social media wherever good social media is found. Until next time, you tiny little bastards, good day.